Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just some DC news and just a asterisk, I guess, on this video. If you can hear stuff outside, there is literally a tropical cyclone like building up and about to hit. So if you can hear some weird wind and stuff, that's what it is. So we are in a bit of a quiet period, I guess you could say, or a bit of a lull when it cocomes to DC news with CinemaCon just around the corner in April. I say around the corner, but we're in March now, so it's about a month or so away, but it's, I guess, technically around the corner. But it is expected there will be some stuff talked about there, maybe not too much, but even the stuff focused on would mainly be Superman related, seeing that that is the only film coming out for DC this year. And though we would expect late July to be the next, big drop for DC news, of course, due to San Diego Comic-Con in late July, it has been suggested that DC won't have a real presence there this year. It hasn't been confirmed, it's just been suggested that way, and that would be like last year, but it sort of made sense last year because they were filming, Superman last year, so they were just sort of getting ready for this new DC Studios, DC Universe reboot. So it made sense last year why there wasn't really that big of a presence. This year, though, you think it'd be the opposite. So it will be interesting to see if that is just being said or suggested to underplay expectations. But expect maybe some stuff from Supergirl, maybe some stuff from Lanterns will be at Comic-Con this year. Because Superman will be out by that point. Superman comes out about 2 weeks before Comic-Con this year. But outside of that, we do have a decent group of information and news to talk about today that recently came out, I guess. So let's do that. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions and everything we go over. Always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, drop a like. Takes 2 seconds. So speaking of Superman, the first couple of things here, actually, there's I'd say pretty much most of this stuff is actually at least completely Superman related or somewhat Superman related. So the first thing is that this is coming from insider Matthew Baloney. I think he said it to someone, but anyway, Superman will reportedly have a lot of humor. Now, it was talked about that like Superman won't be as humorous as like Gunn's previous comic book films, whether it is the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff or the Suicide Squad or even like a Peacemaker and stuff like that, which I expect that, but I expected Superman to be a bit more of a balanced film in regards to it. So it's not Superman cracking jokes, but I could see the humor for this film coming a lot from the Daily Planet bullpen. Like I can easily see like Steve Lombard, Jimmy Olsen, those type of characters having humor there. And of course the back and forth between Lois and Clark. I expect there, to be humor there. And then of course you have a character like Guy Gardner, you have, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho. You can have that group where it has humor there as well. And then of course you have the character of Crypto, where of course Crypto's not going to be, getting up on the hot mic and cracking jokes and stuff, but providing a bit of like a comedic feel and performance through whatever Crypto does in the film. So that's where you expect the humor to be, and I'm sure, whether it is Superman or the Clark Kent side of Kal-El, there'll be some lightheartedness and humor as well, within the film. So a lot, it might not be like when they say a lot, it might not mean, oh, it's like a legitimate comedy film, but maybe it has a lot more humor than people thought it would be. And maybe that's where the report is like, hey, it's got a lot more humor than I initially thought it would. But that doesn't mean the movie is completely just a comedic film. Like you'd expect there's going to be a balance there. And Gunn has used that term balanced when talking about Superman. That's what he was trying to strike when creating the movie, like through writing the script. And of course, when they actually start filming it. So I expect that. But it's just about whether that balance is there, and I'd like to think it is. The next thing to talk about is, once again, something from Superman. This is from Gunn. He shared this behind-the-scenes look at Superman. This is when they were actually filming in, I think it was Iceland or Sweden or something, so actually on location, the snow. So this would be like similar to where they filmed the Crypto scene from the trailers and stuff like that. There was actually a lot of criticism behind this photo, which I thought, it's just an innocent behind-the-scenes one, but I can sort of understand at the same time. And I think it's because we've had a poster, we've had a couple of different things, like a trailer, of course, and then like this would make sense if this was the first look when they started filming, or around a year ago, or just under a year ago or something from now. It would make more sense if this was revealed then, not, late February or whenever it was, or early March when he released it. So I can sort of understand the criticism there. But it is, I don't think anyone got overly hyped from this shot, but it is just that. But I can understand the criticism, but at the same time, I think it's sort of pointless putting that much focus and that much criticism into it, because it's probably Gunn just going through his phone and going, this doesn't spoil anything, we'll just do this to remind people that Superman's coming out. Because that's the most important thing, keeping the movie's momentum going, because they released the trailers somewhat early compared to some other movies that are coming out around the same time. We're meant to get another trailer, I think, at the end of March, I think it is, maybe, or around CinemaCon time. So you're just going to keep the movie in people's brains, So It's innocent. I can understand the criticism. I don't think it's that great of a behind the scenes shot. I think it looks a bit lazy, but it is whatever. I don't really, it doesn't like increase or decrease my anticipation for the film. It's just a whatever thing for me. But the big thing that people were talking about, and once again, this is sort of like, I don't know if it's blowing it out of proportion. I'm not too sure. But James Gunn reportedly is now considering reshoots of Superman, and this is what he said: "We've done screenings, we've done real screenings, definitely learning stuff all the time, definitely editing and making little changes. You know, we might shoot a couple little tiny things. All my additional photography is so hard because it's like I used to be kind of against it because you know you don't have to shoot again. It's a pain in the ass." But as time has gone on and as I've made more movies, I really like being able to say, you know what, I wish I had shot that fist hitting that. And so I do tend to go back and pick that kind of stuff up. So it wouldn't be anything major, but those kinds of things. Yeah, I'll cover you a couple more things like that. When you're dealing with a big movie like this and a movie that you have to get right and a movie that you know people are going to be looking at every single microscopic detail just to whether it's to just analyze it or to pick stuff out and maybe criticize it, he's probably looking at going, oh god, I can see Twitter hating that. And there's just that element now. There's just that element now where he's going to be like, okay, well, I think I have to change that now. I think I'm going to have to go back and do something there. So there's a difference between a pickup and a reshoot. Like a pickup is usually something that's maybe even planned ahead of time because you know you can't do it at a certain point. Like if you film, you know, when they were filming in, we just looked at that photo when they were filming in, was it Sweden or Iceland or whatever it is, but they couldn't get a certain actor. Let's say it was, I don't know, Nicholas Hoult. He was available. Let's say he wasn't available and they had to get a crucial scene and maybe he was sick one day, maybe he had COVID or maybe he was at a prior commitment or whatever it was. He got injured. I don't know, something like that and he couldn't do it. Then they would go, okay, well, we're gonna have to pick this up at a later point because it doesn't fit our schedule at this point. So it can be picked up. It's a pickup shot. It gets done later. And also it can be done, be things where it's like meant to be like a zoom in on a computer screen. They might do it in a different locations because it's got a better surrounding to just do a zoom in on a computer screen or a zoom in on a TV or even a zoom in on someone's face. But then a reshoot is, of course, when it's like, okay, this did not work. We've gotten some, some feedback. We're going to change the scene, change the dialogue, and we'll reshoot it. Of course, there's notorious ones with his reshoots and stuff like that with certain films. But I don't think Superman's going to have anything that bad outside of, like, as he says there, like little tiny things. I don't think there's going to be anything major, but I don't know. Usually find out like after the case, like maybe like a month after the movie comes out that there were these reshoots, but because you compare it to the trailers as well or any other prior release material or even what they were actually filming on set if there's set photos. So yeah, we'll wait and see, but I think as time goes on in this DCU, I think Gunn will realize, okay, well, reshoots just sort of have to be a thing. And he said for himself, I think with the Suicide Squad, he would have done reshoots, but they couldn't because it was COVID. Like he said, there was things in that movie which he wish he could have done reshots with because it just didn't vibe with what he wanted exactly, and just to make the movie a bit better in his eyes. But they couldn't do it because it was literally COVID, and they finished that movie just before COVID started. And the second last thing to talk about, which is the last sort of thing connected to Superman, is sort of Gunn bringing up a connection between Superman and the HBO Lantern show, which comes out early next year from what we know. So he said, we have Lanterns, which we just started shooting with HBO and Warner Brothers, and that is another marvelous team of Tom King, Damon Lindelof, and Chris Mundy, and they've been doing marvelous work. I've been watching the dailies with that. It's really so cool because it is connected to Superman because we've got Guy Gardner in that, and then we've got these Green Lanterns over here. It's such a different tone from what Superman is, and it's exactly what I want to bring to the DCU, is being able to have these very different films and television series that are still part of an overall connected world and have completely different feels to them. Now, this is the big thing. He doesn't confirm in this statement that Guy Gardner is in Lanterns. He's just saying Guy Gardner is a Green Lantern, and then we have the show of Lanterns, which has Green Lanterns in it. But one of the big things that's been doing the rounds for quite a while now is that Guy Gardner will be in Lanterns, but I think the reports were saying it was like not just like a little cameo in one episode, but it's like a guest role for like a recurring guest role if you want to put it for a couple of episodes. I don't know if it would be a couple of episodes. I feel like if Guy Gardner's going to be in there at all, I think you just do one episode, wouldn't you? Or like a little segment there, like one episode, he's in it for like half the episode, or he's just a guest star for that entire episode. I'm not too sure because I think you need the focus to still be Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Guy Gardner's going to have a decent amount of screen time in Superman. That's his time. And Guy Gardner's obviously not really meant to be the Green Lantern to advertise the Green Lantern Corps. So I don't know. I think people took this the wrong way. Like they were saying that this is confirmation that Guy Gardner's in Lanterns when I don't think it is. I think he's just saying we got a Green Lantern and Superman, and then we have this show about Green Lanterns, and there might be some like even just like stuff that they say in in the respective things. Like in Superman, they might mention Hal Jordan. In Lanterns, they might mention Guy Gardner. We'll wait and see, of course, but I think if Guy Gardner is going to show up in Lanterns, it will be for like maybe not a cameo, but like just in one episode. And the final thing to talk about is Gunn talking about Clayface and who's going to be playing Clayface. So, as he said here, as we confirmed the other day, we're closing a deal with James, as in James Watkins, to direct, because we don't have a director yet. We haven't even started the casting process. And this is about Daniel Radcliffe. This was like the rumor that Daniel Radcliffe is going to be playing Clayface. And he says here, Daniel is great, but we certainly haven't talked to or considered him. So this one is 100% false. Now, I think with this Clayface actor, it's going to be very interesting because I think they're going to do very much sort of what you probably saw with like Joker. I think they're probably going to be looking at that first Joker film and going, okay, we're probably going to maybe model how we shape this Clayface movie, not necessarily in regards to story and even tone necessarily, but in regards to you get someone that is a very interesting person to cast in that role of Clayface. Like when we got the news that Joaquin Phoenix was going to be playing Joker, it was like, wow, he's going to play Joker. It was that was the news. It wasn't necessarily that they're making this Joker movie. It's that Joaquin Phoenix was playing Joker. So I think they'll be looking at that and going, okay, well, who's someone we can cast that gets a similar thing with Clayface? Like Daniel Radcliffe, everyone knows him obviously from Harry Potter and stuff like that. That would be interesting. I think like Kieran Culkin was another name that was chucked out there as well. But it needs to be someone that's like not too young, but also not, still looks like in like their prime, if that makes sense, like just because of the nature of the Clayface character. So Daniel Radcliffe would be a good pick. I think that Kieran Culkin would be a good pick. Of course, he just won an Oscar the weekend that's just gone by. So yeah, I mean, I think those are two decent options, and it'll be very interesting to see who they get. But I could see them getting someone in that form. And then like a lot of the supporting cast is just like character actors and stuff that just fit the surrounds, and it's really built 100% off whoever is playing Clayface. So you don't need an overly interesting supporting character that sort of like takes some of the screen away, because that wasn't the case in Joker. It was all Joaquin Phoenix. With Clayface, you'd expect the exact same. It needs to be all whoever is cast as this character. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we went over in this video. Always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.